and Kibaki and Raila were on one side supporting this constitution. William Ruto and some parts of the church were against this constitution. Kenyans were mad with elections. The president could call and dissolve parliament anytime and call for a general election. Under Article 88, the Constitution has given you what is called universal suffrage. You have a card called an election voter's card. That is the biggest weapon. You have the power to put in place a government that you want. Go register. Vote in a government that you want. Every 5 years, you have that power. So stop saying that we are helpless, that we have nothing to do. You have the card, that elector's card. If you don't vote, don't complain that there is no medical services. If you don't vote, don't complain that as Gen Z, nobody is listening to us. Only the person you have elected will listen to you. If you never elected them, they will not listen to you. Stop saying that corruption is there. You are the person who failed to vote. That is why a corrupt person is your leader. This is Kotel Copter, trending version of Explainers. The Constitution of Kenya, 2010. Why did the Constitution of Kenya become so critical for us to pass the Constitution? I'll give you the history so that you understand why the Constitution of Kenya 2010. We start from 1962. In 1962, Kenya was a colony under the British rule. Mau Mau fights of 1952 brought a serious contention for independence of Kenya. A conference in Lancaster was conducted and a decision was made that Kenya will be given independence. A date was set, 1st June 1963. So there was need to have a new constitution for countries that are going to be independent. So we were given a draft constitution similar to other countries that were under the colonialism rule of the British. Our constitution was similar to Uganda. It was similar to all countries. Jomo Kenyatta was given that constitution, and that was the constitution that Kenya gave birth to Kenya. What were the salient constitution provisions under that old constitution? Devolution was there under the old constitution. Security of tenure of judges were there. And very many provisions under this new constitution. From 1963 to around 1974, several amendments were done to that old constitution. That old constitution was amended easily. It gave the President of the Republic of Kenya imperial powers. The security of the judges here, and that's why we came here. Under that old constitution, the judges had a security of tenure. Under President, the late Moi, the security of tenure was removed. And it was brought in that now judges could serve at the mercy and the pleasure of the president. The president could appoint a judge, fire a judge easily. There was no independence of the judges. Kenyans were mad with elections. The president could call and dissolve parliament anytime and call for a general election. There was what was called snap elections, where the president could call for any snap election anytime. When Njonjo the traitor, it was said he was a traitor, a snap election was conducted. When we had a coup in 1982 that was quashed, the president, Mwai, called a snap election in 1983. All the people who opposed him removed. That party, that constitution had multi-party democracy. Under Moi, there was nothing called multi-party democracy. Section 2A was inserted to make Kenya a one-party state. Kanuni baba, kanuni mama, kanuni kila kitu. 1988, the president said there is no need for a secret ballot. We had to go to elections kwa mlolongo. Watu wanapanga foleni. In 2008, 2007, after the elections, we killed each other. ODM said they have no trust to go to the courts. They could not come to this court. War erupted. Over 1,300 Kenyans were killed in the post-election violence. Over 350,000 Kenyans were internally displaced. This led to Kenyans saying, tumechoka.
Tumechoka. Tumechoka.
Let us now make our own constitution. That is how we went to Bomas. We drafted a Bomas draft. The government changed what Kenyans wanted. And a draft called the Wako draft, Wako was the Attorney General at that time, was presented for a referendum. Raila Odinga, with his people, voted and campaigned against the Wako draft. Raila Odinga was already in government. The handshake government between Kibaki and Raila Odinga that was negotiated by the late Kofi Annan. Raila Odinga won the referendum. Kibaki dissolved the cabinet and Raila Odinga formed ODM party. Now, there was utter need for a new constitution. People now put whatever we agreed into this constitution. And Kibaki and Raila were on one side supporting this constitution. William Ruto and some parts of the church were against this constitution. A referendum was conducted. Over 67% of Kenyans voted yes. William Ruto and his splinter group lost. Kibaki inaugurated or promulgated the constitution on the 27th of August 2010.
Declare that the constitution set out in a schedule shall be the new constitution of Kenya with effect from the 27th August, the year 2010.
That is the constitution that we have today. Many of the issues that were not addressed in the old constitution are now in the new constitution. Let me highlight 10 critical issues that the new constitution has brought. One, the space of women in politics and leadership. Women are now a center stage at political leadership. Although not 100%, they've done well for women emancipation. Two, education. Article 53 provides for issues of education. The role of education as a fundamental human right is enhanced. Compulsory education, basic. Free. Issues about the Bill of Rights. The human aspect, the dignity and privacy and respect of human beings is now part and parcel of the discourse of this country. Fourth, participation. Under Article 10, every person, every government decision, public participation must be involved in it. Police brutality and state brutality. Under the constitutional dispensation, we have entities like IPOA to oversight the police. We have a civilian National Police Service Commission to oversight the police service. We have now so many police officers arrested and charged and prosecuted for violating human rights. The constitutional division of the High Court. That is a creature that now is protecting everybody. The right of the media. In the old constitution, Vivian told me they could not cover a story like this one. The special branch could arrest them and take the gadgets, the cameras of court helicopter. Today, there is a vibrant media. From the blogs, from the formal media, from the digital media, nobody is gagging the media. If you also look at the gains that we have, judges nowadays here are not recruited or demoted or sacked because of the president. The security of tenure has been returned. Applications are advertised by the Judicial Service Commission. You apply, you compete, you get the job. If it is a promotion, you got the job. You saw the other day the application for the member, a judge, Justice Wasame, beat the other judges to go to the Supreme Court. We've seen the recruitment of the Chief Justice. It is transparent. We've seen the removal of judges. So, in a nutshell, the 11 constitutional commissions have taken much power from the president into their dockets. Here we in court, originally it was the police who were investigating and it was the police who were prosecuting. Today we have the independent office called the Director of Public Prosecution under Article 157, who you cannot direct, you cannot force. So, where has this constitution taken Kenya? The constitution has taken us far. Certainty. We know the date of the next general election. It is on 10th of August 2027. We even know the second election of 2032. It will be on the second Tuesday of 2032. Proceeding like that. What about election petitions? Remember, in 2007, Kibaki was sworn in at night. The election that he had won an election was done at around 6 p.m. And at 6:25, President Kibaki was being sworn in State House. We saw that happen in Tanzania, where Suluhu was sworn in a military barrack. Under this new constitution, there are days allocated. Once the IBC announces anybody who is losing or who has lost will go to the Supreme Court, and within 14 days, Supreme Court will decide. And their decision is final. Swearing in will be at Kasarani between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Court helicopter will be there to cover those events live. That certainty is what we are saying the Constitution has brought us so far. Then lastly, everybody is saying there is failure on government to implement the Constitution. From Court Helicopter, Danstan Omari does not believe in that. I don't believe in that. Article 3 of the Constitution mandates everybody to defend the Constitution. You don't need to be sworn in with a Constitution holding like this, like to defend the Constitution. Article 3 gives the power to everybody to defend the Constitution. We have told you where you can defend it. You can defend it by Article 37, by picketing and demonstrating. You can defend the Constitution by filing constitutional petitions in the High Court, even when you are not an aggrieved party. You can defend the Constitution by presenting memoranda to Parliament. You can defend the Constitution by civic education. You can defend your Constitution by putting your clip on TikTok, on social media, on any social platform. Your voice is going to be heard. Let us not be talking about that the Constitution has been failed. Lastly, under Article 88, the Constitution has given you what is called universal suffrage. You have a card called an election voter's card. That is the biggest weapon. You have the power to put in place a government that you want. Go register. Vote in a government that you want. Every 5 years, you have that power. So stop saying that we are helpless, that we have nothing to do. You have the card, that elector's card. If you don't vote, don't complain that there is no medical services. If you don't vote, don't complain that as Gen Z, nobody is listening to us. Only the person you have elected will listen to you. If you never elected them, they will not listen to you. Stop saying that corruption is there. You are the person who failed to vote. That is why a corrupt person is your leader. So, from Court Helicopter, I wish to thank all the crew led by our latest entry, Joy Gituma, for behind the curtains, Stanley Kinyanjui, the legal team, Abedi on the legal desk. Then we have the researchers, Bramwell, Kelsey, Cyrus, and Vivian behind the cameras. We wish you katiba mpya, katiba yako. Wacha kelele. Chukua kadi, piga kura, sisi. Amakuja kotini, present your case. From Court Helicopter, wakili Danstan Omari.